The crystalline throne room of the Vorthon Empire gleamed under artificial suns, casting rainbow reflections across the assembled court. Princess Lyanna pressed herself against the ornate pillar, her violet skin pale with terror as she watched. The massive human warrior stride through the grand entrance. Captain Jake Thompson stood 7 feet tall in his powered armor, each step echoing like thunder through the vast chamber. Battle scars marked his weathered face, and his steel gray eyes swept the alien nobility with the cold efficiency of a predator. The Vorthon guards, despite their advanced energy weapons, stepped aside without challenge. "Father, please," Lyanna whispered urgently to Emperor Valdris, her voice trembling. "Anyone but him. The stories they tell about human warriors in combat are terrifying." The Emperor's 4 eyes narrowed as he studied the approaching Terran. Humans had emerged onto the galactic stage only decades ago, yet their reputation for savage warfare had already spread across 100 worlds. They fought with a fury that defied logic, surviving battles that should have killed them through sheer stubborn determination. "Silence, daughter," Valdris commanded, though his own voice carried uncertainty. "The marriage alliance with Earth is crucial for our survival against the Krolak invasion." Beside the human warrior walked Ambassador Grace Williams, her diplomatic uniform pristine despite the long journey from Earth. Her presence provided little comfort to the terrified princess, who had heard whispers of how humans bonded for life with an intensity that bordered on madness. "Your Imperial Majesty," Grace spoke with practiced diplomacy, "Captain Thompson has volunteered to serve as your daughter's protector and husband. His combat record is exemplary." Jake removed his helmet, revealing brown hair streaked with premature gray. His gaze found Princess Lyanna, and for a moment something softer flickered in his expression. She flinched at the attention, remembering the stories of human warriors who could tear through enemy lines with their bare hands when their loved ones were threatened. "I understand your concerns about our species," Jake said, his voice surprisingly gentle despite its deep timbre. "But I swear by Earth's honor that no harm will come to your daughter while I draw breath." The princess pressed closer to her father. Human protective instincts were legendary throughout the galaxy. They would fight impossible odds, ignore fatal wounds, and rage against death itself to defend those they claimed as family. The thought of being the focus of such terrifying devotion made her stomach twist with fear. "The Krolak fleets will arrive within the month," Emperor Valdris announced to his court. "Our alliance with humanity is our only hope for survival." As if summoned by his words, warning alarms suddenly blared throughout the palace. Courtiers scattered in panic as emergency. Lights bathed the throne room in red. A junior officer rushed forward, his breathing apparatus hissing with terror. "Your Majesty, Krolak scouts have breached the outer defense grid." The Emperor's face went ashen. The insectoid Krolak were known throughout the galaxy for their ruthless efficiency in consuming entire civilizations. Their technology surpassed even the advanced Vorthon Empire. Jake stepped forward without hesitation. "Permission to engage, Your Majesty." "You would face them alone?" Valdris asked, incredulous. "Not alone," Jake replied, activating his armor's communication system. "Ghost Company, this is Wolf Leader. Time to show these bugs what humans do to uninvited guests." The response crackled through the chamber's speakers. "Copy that, Wolf Leader. Let's remind them why Earth doesn't negotiate with invasion forces." Princess Lyanna watched in horrified fascination as Jake's demeanor shifted. The gentle expression vanished, replaced by something primal and fierce. This was the human warrior she had feared in her nightmares. "Stay with the princess," Jake ordered Grace. "If any Krolak reach this chamber, you know what to do." The ambassador nodded grimly, her hand moving to the plasma pistol at her hip. Even human diplomats were warriors when necessity demanded. Jake sealed his helmet and strode toward the chamber's main entrance. "Princess Lyanna," he called over his shoulder. "When this is over, we'll talk properly. I think you'll find humans aren't quite the monsters the stories make us out to be." Before she could respond, he was gone, his heavy footsteps fading into the distance. The battle raged for hours. Through the palace's communication system, they heard reports of impossible human tactics. Ghost Company fought with a coordination that defied Krolik understanding, using the palace's own architecture against the invaders. They set traps that turned corridors into killing fields, and when those failed, they engaged in brutal close combat that left Krolik warriors fleeing in terror. "The humans are singing," one confused guard reported. "They're singing while they fight." Princess Lyanna covered her ears, trying to block out the distant sounds of combat. Human battle songs were another terrifying legend meant to coordinate attacks and intimidate enemies. The melody that drifted through the palace walls spoke of home, of honor, and of protection worth dying for. When silence finally fell, Jake returned to the throne room. His armor bore fresh scars, and Krolik blood stained his weapon, but he walked with steady purpose. Behind him followed 6 other human warriors, their faces grim but victorious. "The immediate threat is neutralized," Jake reported to Emperor Valdris. "But this was just a scouting force. The main fleet will be more careful now." Princess Lyanna stared at the human who had just single-handedly saved her world. The terror remained, but now it mixed with something else. Awe, perhaps, or the beginning of understanding. "You fought for people you barely know," she said quietly. Jake removed his helmet again, and that gentle expression returned. "That's what we do, Princess. We protect what matters. And I matter to you?" "You will," he said simply. "Give it time." Emperor Valdris stepped forward, his 4 eyes studying Jake with new respect. "The alliance is sealed. My daughter will marry the human warrior." Princess Lyanna took a trembling step toward Jake. "I'm still afraid of you," she admitted. Jake smiled, and for the first time it didn't seem predatory. "Good. Fear keeps you smart, but I hope someday you'll trust me too." As the Krolik fleet approached their world, Princess Lyanna began to understand why the galaxy whispered about human warriors. They weren't just fighters, they were guardians, protectors who would stand against impossible odds for those they claimed as their own. Perhaps being claimed by such a warrior wasn't the worst fate after all.